Distill all of that for us. What does the jobs picture look like right now? Because the headline numbers, it seems like the jobs market is fairly strong still.
The great hesitation, right? Companies realize the expense they had in getting these employees. And we predicted earlier this year on CNBC that the U.S. economy would spend $50 billion more in 22 over 2019 in talent acquisition. And I think companies are hesitating to lay off more workers, knowing that they might have to bring them back. Yet, as you just mentioned, we saw this huge surge in the sub $40,000 salary bucket. So there is recruiting going on, there is hiring going on, and those recruiters are being shifted towards the lower salaried workers, leaving the higher ones either in this hesitation mode of what we do with them. And again, employees are quitting. We saw more people quit in August of 22 than they did in July of 22. So employees are quitting. I think in the survey, over 50% of the candidates reported by the recruiters had over 2 jobs in the past year. So employees are quitting. Companies need to hire and fill those roles. But as you mentioned, not one recruiter reported that 100% of their roles that they were working on were new roles. So we call those backfill. So the roles left open by someone quitting is still taking a significant share of that market.
When do you think that pendulum swings? I mean, for an employee to have 2 jobs over the course of 1 year, if I were somebody who's hiring, I wouldn't want to hire that person. It shows that they're just absolutely mercenary and have no loyalty, and I can't depend on them. Does that pendulum, though, shift? I mean, if we're all talking about the Fed raising rates to the point of pain in the labor market, eventually the pendulum does have to switch. Eventually, people don't have that luxury to demand working from home, to demand a quality of life issue, and to be quitting jobs 2 times a year.
I would say that good talent is always in real demand. So the talent, and whether, depending on the company, talent could be a factory worker, talent could be a restaurant worker, talent could be a Java developer. Good talent is always going to be in demand. And good talent can actually make determinations on what sort of culture and work-life balance they want to have. And the companies, if they want to fill those roles to align with their culture, they're going to have to find those employees that actually also align with those roles. But I will say, I think 5 years ago, if you saw an employee leave within 6 months, you'd say, gee, I questioned that employee. And now if they say, gee, it just wasn't a good culture fit, I didn't like the mission that the company was on, you might actually look at that employee a little bit differently today than you did 5 years ago.
So in terms of what you do, Evan, I'm just curious, how do you look through a jobs report? Like, for instance, tomorrow morning, when you read through that jobs report, what will you be focusing in on to tell you what you are going to see? Or is it the reverse? Does it confirm things that you suspected? I mean, how do you use that data, if at all?
Yeah, we usually use it to go, gee, we were right here. We look at the swings that we're seeing, and we look for the data to accompany those swings. But I'll tell you, the numbers that we typically look at is the JOLT report, how many people are quitting, how many people are getting hired, because that really gives you the health of the overall job economy. Not necessarily new jobs, but who's quitting and who's hiring and how many of those in different sectors. And when we're seeing more and more people quit, it also means more and more people are getting hired. And that's actually very good in this new economy. We predicted earlier in the year that the great resignation would be replaced by job mobility. And we're really seeing that. People are still being more mobile. They're leaving companies. Candidate sentiment, though, ticked down 1 bit from 3.7 to 3.6 month over month. It's still really high. It still is a good candidates marketplace. We saw salaries go up. We saw applications to jobs actually go up also. So more people are applying to a fewer number of jobs. But it really is this hesitation that we're living in now as companies are really figuring out, gee, what's going to be next for them with the looming recession.
Evan, great to speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Evan Sohn of Recruiter.com.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.